On the 23rd of January 2022, the news broke of the death of French comic artist Jean-Claude Mézières. Famous for his work in Bande-désinée, Mézières' most famous legacy is his collaboration with writer Pierre Christin. The classic science fiction series Valerian Space-Time Agent, or Valerian and Laureline. Considered to be a benchmark in science fiction for its visionary depictions of alien life forms, cultures and landscapes, along with an unusually humane and anti-militaristic view of the cosmos, Valerian is, at its best, a top-tier work of the ninth art. To commemorate this great artist and his legacy, I would like to go through some of my favorite panels and splash pages from Valerian Space-Time Agent. This is not really a top 10, but a stroll down memory lane, where we see some of Mézières' best work in this classic series. As one of the premier space adventure comics of all time, Mézières' depictions of the cosmos are absolutely breathtaking. From patchwork stations to starship cemeteries, from icicle precipitation to space-time hyperacceleration. Perhaps the best come from World Without Stars, where our hero's starship pierces through the crust of a hollow planet into the black void. The landscape they traverse looks like a lava lamp exploding into abstract art. Pink lines over a black background forming something that resembles cell colonies. In a way, it reminds me of a less aggressive, more contemplative parallel to the cosmic art of Jack Kirby. For those not in the know, a splash page is a panel that occupies an entire page or sometimes even two of them side to side. The term was coined by Will Eisner, a master when it comes to that type of panel, and they sometimes engender ambivalent feelings. On the one hand, they can be easily used by lazy writers and artists to skimp on storytelling in favor of pure spectacle, by padding out the length of a book with bigger pictures. On the other hand, they can be absolutely iconic, large, often silent panels that depict places, moments or ideas of such magnitude that a regular action panel does not suffice. Mézières uses these splash pages to show some truly unique sights, like this one from On the False Earths. Somewhat conventional, simply depicting an immense structure floating in space as it appears in front of the characters, but it is a thing of beauty. A collage of buildings and structures from different times and places in Earth history, each disparate piece slowly rising on the infinite horizon. A similar one appears in Ambassador of the Shadows, showing Point Central, the space station built from modules from uncountable civilizations. The splash pages in Valerian are rather unique though, since they are often composite pictures of multiple events or places, rather like a montage. A shocking one is in Birds of the Master, representing a psychic attack straight into Valerian's brain that shows a history of atrocities on Earth. The living weapons includes two good ones, this traveling montage and this space centaur battle. There's also this beauty from World Without Stars, in which our hero is forced to train in an alien army. It is a composite of different moments of the training exercise, featuring several insert panels. The best one for me is this splash page in Empire of a Thousand Planets, depicting an armada of spaceships flying from one planet to another, gathering more and more allies along the way. Notice how the planets blend into one another and the different spaceships join the main fleet in the center, led of course by Valerian and Laureline's XB-982. It feels like a precursor of this splash page at the end of Prophet number 23, where a signal is sent across the cosmos activating thousands of Prophet units. One thing I admire is when an artist manages to depict impossible phenomena somehow giving concrete shape to the abstract. Some comics use panel layout to achieve this, like the dreamscapes of The Sandman. Others go for symbolism, like the egg hatching in Scott Pilgrim's head when he manages to put 2 and 2 together. In the case of Valerian, Mézières shows the heroes traveling through the space-time continuum aboard their XB-982 spaceship, using variations on this panel, making the ship itself a white silhouette and the space around it a field of grey spots. 2 panels have particularly interesting alternatives. The first one is this follow-up panel, where planets seem to form a tunnel of infinite acceleration, which very much resembles a similar effect in the movie Stargate. But the most interesting one is this one from The City of the Shifting Waters, in which the villain Zombull dies as his shuttle suffers a space-time anomaly. Even though the art of this album is much less sophisticated than later ones, this panel is simply brilliant, as it seems to depict space-time as having ripples, which cause Zombull's shuttle to alternate between reality and inexistence. An Easter egg is a hidden detail in a work of fiction, often in the form of an item or name belonging to a different book or film, hidden inside the story as a wink to an observant audience. In other cases, it's a surprise walking from characters from a very different story. Case in point, I don't think anyone was expecting to see robot duplicates of Blake and Mortimer in this club in On the False Earths. I wonder if there's a robot duplicate of the yellow sign too. I'm particularly fond of the last panel of that album, a full-blown homage to Renoir's Luncheon of the Boating Party. Of course, I could not finish our tour without mentioning this little gem. Not really a panel, but a poster of an alien cantina where 2 pairs meet. Valerian and Laureline welcoming Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia to the table. When people talk about the sexiest women in comics, they usually focus on spandex-clad superheroines or barely legal manga girls. Which is disappointing. Few ever mention beauties like Modesty Blaze, Natasha the Stewardess or Detective Taxi. And of course, Laureline stands head and shoulders over all of them. Part of the reason why she is, as far as I'm concerned, a true sex symbol of comics is that Mézières' art presents her through the eyes of Valerian, and he sees her as a sweet, tender woman. We could talk about male gaze until we are blue in the mouth, but the fact remains that this series is loaded with iconic panels that elevate our heroine's beauty in, different states of undress, admittedly. Some classics include this one in World Without Stars, in which she's wearing a golden space bikini and face paint, a likely inspiration for a certain other space adventurer. The one in The Living Weapons, where Laureline puts on the costume of a circus ringleader, and several instances in Ambassador of the Shadows, where she holds lovingly this little creature called a Bluxta Transmuter. My favorite, though, is in that same album, and it shows both our heroes reuniting at last and giving each other a loving kiss. One of the reasons I am so fond of this panel is not just that it is a beautifully drawn kiss between 2 characters I care about, but that within the continuity of the series, this is the first time their flirtation and sexual tension comes to fruition. It would not be their last, but that first kiss on a sunny shore of the nameless planet remains a favorite of mine and communicates a tenderness unmatched by other comic book couples. Although I advocate for clarity above all in storytelling, I can't deny that I love flashy, exciting compositions. While this type of panel layouts can go wrong when they sacrifice on clarity, it's one of the reasons I'm generally not big on manga, I find this particular storytelling mechanism a form of virtuoso performance. One example of what I'm talking about is the entirety of Grendel, Devil by the Deed. In particular, the East Coast Massacre panel is one of my favorites, which shows the protagonist's master plan enacted through a montage of radial panels. Others include this tale from The Spirit, which consists mainly of POV shots, the frequent sinister insert shots in Hellboy, and this fixed camera tale of Usagi Yojimbo. Valerian does not fall short in this department. In fact, one of the main reasons I wanted to make this video in the first place was so that I could show this 2-page spread from Heroes of the Equinox. In this tale, 4 heroes from different planets, including Valerian, representing Earth, are sent on the same quest. Each hero takes a different path to reach the same destination. Much of the adventure is arranged in 4 parallel strips, each dedicated to one of the 4 characters, color-coded for your convenience, and can be read either left to right or top to bottom. That in and of itself is rather neat. But the true stroke of brilliance appears halfway through Valerian's strip, the top one, where he crawls along a cave but then falls down a pit, which leads him to the bottom strip, where he will resume his journey once he recovers. This set of panels is a visible demonstration of how the Ninth Art is not just a book with some pretty pictures, but a synthesis of literature and illustration, and both elements are codependent and mutually reinforcing. In the end, much the same way that it takes more than a single good scene to make a good movie, or more than a good level or 2 for a quality video game, it's true that excellent comics are made of more than just a few great panels. But it's also true that the history of comics is packed with truly iconic panels that stick around the memory of readers even decades later. From Keep on Trucking to Gaze into the Fist of Dread. From Morpheus winning the oldest game in the world to Ozymandias declaring he did it 35 minutes ago. From Guts slicing up a rider with his oversized blade to Gru being chased out of town. From Daredevil being reborn in flames to the reveal of what's inside the barrel. From Darkseid crashing on the Justice League's couch to Wolverine claiming he's next. From Tintin and Snowy floating aboard a sarcophagus, to Corto Maltese and Shanghai Lil gazing at each other amidst a cloud of butterflies. Mézières' work on Valerian is a bona fide source of great art, brilliant layouts and emblematic images, from bizarre aliens to fantastic landscapes, from amazing technologies brimming with energy to lovers embracing tenderly. The collaboration between this man and his friend Pierre Christin is a work of art that deserves to be celebrated. Hope to see you in the stars.